fix my hair. It's like looking in the mirror. Oh, please work. Is she on yet?
See her.
Here we go. Hi, Miles. Hey, you made it. Hi, Joshua. Teddy. She goes. Hey,
Hello,
Isabel.
Isabel.
Welcome. All right, we can get started now. All right. Hi to everybody who's watching. Welcome back. I hope everybody had a great holiday. We have a new year ahead of us. I'm hoping it will be a great one. We have a lot of new and exciting things coming up. So stay tuned and we'll make announcements as things come up. But it should be an exciting year with a lot of changes. Our new CEO said that he will join us
Yay.
for one of these. So that's great, right? He's very customer centric. He talks a lot about customer happiness. That makes me happy. So I think we're on the right track. All righty. And everybody say hello to Isabel, my cohort in crime. All righty. So do we have any questions? Hi, everyone. Nice to see you all. We're here for questions.
So the first question, Dee, from Joshua, what is happening? What is the live video for? The live video is so that we can all hang out with Dee and get answers to all of our questions.
Actually, it's because Isabel is awesome, and this is the half hour I get to spend with her and soak in her awesomeness. So thank you, Isabel, for taking the time to do this. Actually, it's very nice of you. And of course, we have our lovely Adam behind the scenes who makes all of this happen. Without him, we wouldn't have this. Aw. What's going on with VR? Well, that's an open-ended question. There's nothing that's changed about VR. It's pretty stable. It's available with every space. Do you have more specific questions?
Are there plans to make Matterport spaces addable to the Oculus Go gallery?
Aha. So currently it does work with Oculus Go if you use WebVR. However, it's not technically supported. I don't know if there are plans to make that happen in the future, but as of right now, it's not on the near-term roadmap. Sorry.
So for those who don't know, if you have an Oculus Go and you want to look at your own Matterport space that is not preloaded, what you have to do is you have to embed your Matterport space on the website and then go to that website in the Oculus Go browser. And from there, you can open the web version of your space.
Yep. Is Matterport at CES this week? I believe we are. Yes, we are. Adam says we are, so we are.
Is anything being announced? What is Matterport announcing at CES? Can we have a preview?
I don't know. Do you know, Adam?
What's that?
What's being announced at CES?
That I know of.
Go and find out. I don't know. I'm not in marketing. I don't know that stuff. Sorry. Uh-oh, we lost Isabel. Oh, there
Oh,
you are. Okay, never mind. Sorry, it was me.
any updates on the new workshop, Dee?
Oh, coming soon. It's going to be a lot faster. I've been using it and it seems to be pretty good. It loads a lot quicker. So hopefully that will sort of mitigate a lot of frustrations on load time. And then every time you click outside workshop and then it, it closes by itself and then you have to open it again and wait another minute or two. So yeah, I feel your pain. I do a lot of work, my work in workshop. So yeah, we're hope it'll be a lot nicer. You'll like it. It's coming soon.
Yay. So Irene asked, what is CES? CES is the Consumer Electronics Show, where every maker of every electronic device goes to announce new and exciting things. And so I guess we should watch for what Matterport is announcing there.
Why? Yes, Isabel. Why were none of us informed?
About what in CES? Yeah, maybe Matterport can consider having like a meetup with local Vegas people or wherever a conference is being attended. That would have been fun.
Yep. There you go, Teddy. Set that up. new, new action item for you. Uh, are there any advances on blurring out the camera in mirrors? No. Not right now. I know we can blur faces and soon we'll be able to remove April tags, but there's nothing right now in the near term for blurring out the camera in mirrors. If it's a big deal, then you can try to avoid having your camera in mirrors by taking scans to one side or to the other. Sometimes if you have a closet door that has bifolds, you can crack the door open a little bit. There are a few tricks, but for the most part, I don't think that most people care that you can see the camera there. I mean, they understand it and it's not a big deal. What is that sort of your perception, Isabel?
No, actually, I think people care a lot. I met an apartments.com manager at a conference, and
Mm-hmm.
he said that so they have in-house staff. They have 200 in-house staff who do their scans, and they have made it a big no-no to include mirrors, to include cameras and mirrors, because it's just like when you're taking a DSLR photo.
Uh-huh.
You don't want to like you're taking a real estate photo or you're showing off your house to a friend. You don't. The point is the house, not your own reflection. And so
Right.
his view was that they really discouraged their staff from having cameras in the mirror. So my solution for that is to bring a big bouquet of fake flowers. Fake flowers are always on sale at your local craft store, any Hobby Lobby, Michael's, Joann's. It is always 50% off. So you buy 4 or 5 bunches of big white fake flowers. You put it in the vase and bring it with you to the scans. And when you put it in front of the mirror, it blocks the camera so you don't see it. Another point I want to bring up about the camera blurring is that Dee mentioned last week, the face blurring costs you 2 minutes per scan in additional processing time. So imagine you do a big scan and you really want to get it back. The blurring really takes a toll on your ability to get it back quickly. So maybe that is not what you want, right? In order to hide your camera from two mirrors, you blur it, but then you're maybe spending hours waiting. Your client is spending hours waiting, and then you can't order the floor plan, and then your client is mad. So it is better to bring fake flowers.
All right, good to know. Thank you. That was great information. Yeah, when you turn face blurring on, it does add a lot of time, and it's not at this point always accurate. I've seen entire sides of refrigerators blurred. Uh, it's all done through artificial intelligence, and we're still teaching our lovely AI machine how to do blurring. So bear with us while we sort of work out all the kinks and we teach it exactly what is a face and what's not a face. Yeah. So people agree with you, Isabel. So I think that's just great. Thank you.
Faces and pictures are also, yes. So the blurring, I mean, it's artificial intelligence. It takes what it thinks is a face, and that is not always a live face. It happens.
Yeah. No, it's supposed to blur faces in pictures as well. It's supposed to blur all faces. Sometimes it
But
gets it wrong, but for the most
but
part,
it
it's pretty
does
good.
not blur. So Justin Bond tried to put a face on his camera,
I
and
know.
it don't try that. That does not work.
Yeah, we were trying to stick a picture of a face on the mirror right where the camera would be and see if it would blur that out, but we couldn't tell what position actually to put the face at. So it didn't work. Oh well. It was worth a try. It was fun. All right. Any other questions?
A question from Erwin. Do you recommend any particular lighting for scanning in dark places?
Oh, yes. Actually, we have on our website a link to lights that we recommend, as well as little Velcro pads that you can use to stick on your camera to mount them on top of the camera. If you search under lighting or insurance and restoration, you'll find them there. We also have currently a new tripod that we're featuring as well that goes up to 14 feet. And I believe there's another one coming that goes up to 24 feet. It's created by this guy named John Hubbard. He came out and we tested it, and it's super awesome. It's super sturdy and stable, and we had our camera up pretty high, and it was pretty awesome. So those of you who are in the AEC market or insurance where you need to scan higher up, I would definitely consider looking into that. You can find the link also on our website.
So Mike did answer Erwin saying that he uses the Godix LED 64 video light, and that is what I have as well, because they're cheap and tiny. And so when you put them on top of your camera, I would recommend putting them as a V with the lights facing outward. The reason for that is if you put them straight on, then as the camera turns, you get a little bit of a seam with the light. So there are dark spots as you go around the 360. So the
Cool.
light needs to cover a little more area than what the camera is currently looking at.
So you're talking about a V like pointing out.
The other way. With
Pointing in?
the lights pointing out. With the lights are on the outside of the V. So this is
All
the
right, so the
camera.
lights are pointing out. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it. Thank you. Is there a date when matter tags are visible in VR? Currently, that is not, from my understanding, on the roadmap. If that does become available, I will let you know. Can we customize other elements of the online presentation, background colors, or information presented on the screen? At this point, I'm sorry, the background's always black. We've had this request before. The engineering team is aware of it and is one of our feature requests. Or information presented on screen. Can the tours be programmed to autoplay a video within an info tag? So if you're talking about playing a video within a matter tag, there's no way to autoplay that. You have to actually go to that matter tag and hit play.
Is there a typical square footage and ceiling height at which the BLK should replace the matter report? Square footage, not really. So the Matterport does really well in scanning really large spaces. The rate limiting factor is your iPad. If your iPad can, so for every additional scan, it takes the iPad more work to integrate it with the previous scans. And so if your iPad doesn't have enough processing power, by the time you get to 200-300 scans, it starts to not want to align. And that is not the Matterport's fault. So where the BLK is more useful is where you have a lot of empty or repetitive spaces, like a huge warehouse where there's nothing for the Matterport to align to. The Matterport's range is about 8 feet. Is that right, Dee?
Yeah.
and the BLK is a lot further. So if within a 8 feet radius, there's nothing different for the Pro 2 to latch onto, then you're better off using a BLK, or you can bring April tags, which, as Dee mentioned, will soon be blurred out.
Yeah. So one of the common misunderstandings with the BLK is that you can't scan like a block away, right? Its range isn't that big. It's like 15 feet. So the Matterport camera can see 5 to 8 feet, and you can take your scans 5 to 8 feet apart. The BLK, you should only go 15 feet. If you go further than that, then you're going to potentially run into alignment issues. But as Isabel said, you can get higher visibility with the BLK than you can with the Matterport camera. If you're scanning a building that's super tall, the other thing you can do is get a tripod that goes higher, like the one I just talked about, and scan 2 levels with your Matterport, one higher and one lower, and then you can just hide all the scans that are high and just use those to fill in the dollhouse. The Matterport camera images are way just better. So if you're concerned about the images that you're getting, then I would suggest doing something like that.
Ted
So
has
here's a
a, oh, sorry, you go ahead.
Go ahead. Here's a question from Tommy. I have a question about scanning in tight spaces. Is it possible to scan at different heights in order to have enough data to create a complete dollhouse without any blank spaces, and then not include the extra scans for height from the walkthrough? That's what I was just talking about. Yes, you can scan at different heights if you want to fill in your dollhouse, and you can always hide the scans that you don't want your customers to be able to walk to. So that's a great use of scanning at different heights, hiding certain scans. That's a great way to do that. The other thing I've seen people do is if you're scanning a room that has a lot of sunlight, but you want to have the images with the sunlight there, you can take a few extra scans with the blinds or the curtains closed where it's dark, just to fill in the 3D data, and then you can hide those later, and then just have your customers walk to the scans that have the sunlight. So that's another example.
So Ted has a great suggestion, coming up with a weekly topic instead of just going all over the place. Yes, that's something
Yeah,
to consider.
yeah, we're open to hearing about topics that you guys want to discuss. We've had a few people, guest speakers like Chris and Chris, the two Chris's.
Do you
And if
have to
you
be named Chris to be a guest speaker? Because we have a lot more Chris's.
yeah, we'll have to find another Chris to invite. But yeah, we're open for suggestions. If you guys want this to be at different times, we're open to whatever. We're here for you. And this is, sort of a way for us to get information to you and just to hang out and, say hi, get to know each other, right? All right.
So this
Sometimes,
comes up a lot, Dee. So Ravi asked about data ownership, storing offline, and I know that it's not something that Matterport has considered, but given the ongoing demands, is that something that is ever discussed internally?
yeah, so recently I have had some questions from some high profile users that want to have perhaps some models on a different server, which is secure. Um, at this point, we don't have any plans for that. However, we are getting more demand. And so the more people who want that and the more demand we get, I think then the more leverage we have to make some changes. I think with this new CEO as well, I don't know sort of where he plans to steer the ship. But potentially that could be something that could be discussed in the future. So yeah. Any news regarding the next Matterport camera? There is no next Matterport camera as of right now. Sorry. Can
We
you
have a
say?
lot of Chris suggestions. So Chris Hickman says we should have Chris Frazier, and Chris Pacheco says we should have Chris Jones. So a long list of other Chris options for.
We did have Chris Petracco on.
No, Chris Bell. Chris Pacheco said
Chris
that
Bell.
we need to have Chris Bell. Many Chris's. But I think a good session would be Chris Fraser talking about video capture. Chris is an expert on turning Matterport spaces into videos, and there's a big demand for that.
Yes.
And people don't know how to do that. So I think that is a great idea.
Including me. Yes, we'll reach out to Chris Fraser. We'll get him on here.
Awesome. So capture app. Sometimes the capture app has non-continuous numbering of scans. It does happen. So when I was scanning and capture suddenly crashed, and I was on scan 45, it went back to 39. But it doesn't matter, right? The space still processed perfectly.
So what you'll find on the capture app is if you're scanning and you delete a scan or one doesn't align, the next scan typically, if it doesn't crash, the scan number will increment. All right. So the number of scans that you have in the capture app is always going to be greater than the number of scans that you end up with in your processed space. So when you reach out to me, for example, and you're like, help me fix this space, and you're giving me numbers from capture, I can't see those. I can only see the scan numbers that are created after it's processed. And what happens is when your model gets processed, all of the deleted or misaligned scans are removed, and the numbering is consecutive. So it starts at 1 and it goes consecutively from there. So the numbers are going to be different in Workshop than they are on the capture app. Sometimes things go wrong, and I have seen the scan numbers revert backwards, which it's not supposed to. But again, the numbers in capture are completely ignored when it's processed and a whole new set is generated, just like with floor designations. So the only reason why you want to separate your scans into different floors in the capture app is so that, number one, it doesn't look like a total mess with all your scans smashed on top of each other. So if you have different floors, you want to separate them into floors, but it also helps with marking. So when you do a marking, it goes on that floor with the scans on that floor. So if you have a 3-story house and you do it all in one floor and you want to mark the bathroom on the 3rd floor, it'll mark all of the scans. So that's why you want to have separate floors in capture. But remember, when your model is processed, we ignore the floor designations that you use. We calculate the floors based on the elevations of the scans, right? So the software is smart enough to know that, oh, this scan is higher than the previous scan, so I must be going upstairs, and it will create a new floor when you get to a certain height. And it looks at all the other scans on that floor. So, okay, there's a bunch of scans now that are on the same height. That's a new floor. It doesn't always work perfectly, but it's pretty good. And so if you name your floors something crazy in capture, or you don't do them like in order, it doesn't matter. Our software just completely ignores all that and redoes the floor numbering, right? Chris Hickman, you should never be worried. Your example of scanning a well-lit area and closing blinds and doing additional scans, then hiding those scans later. Can the same apply when a door gets moved? All right, so what you can do is if you want the door to be closed and open as you come up to a door, you can open the door and take one scan on either side of the door, 2 feet on either side. Don't scan right underneath the door jamb, scan on either side. And then you can trim around those scans where the door is open, and then all your other scans can have the door closed. So the net effect is as you're walking along and you get up to the door suddenly opens.
Like magic.
Yay.
And so that trick works also when people complain a lot that somehow the scan gets processed and they can't get into a certain room. That is because you open the door at some point and close it at another point. And so some 3D data got stuck in the door. Yep. If you look in the dollhouse mode, there'll be some weird clutter, and that is what makes it impossible to go inside. So if you do what Dee just said, if you draw a trim in the doorway, that'll get rid of the stray mesh.
Yep. I have a client who builds homes with multi-levels and non-traditional spaces with lots of vaulted spaces. I am often unsure how to trim the vaulted spaces as they capture from both floors. Yeah, so that's a little bit tricky. If you have a floor above another one and you trim a window and there's no floor that connects to that wall, that trim mark will go all the way down because it's going to go all the way until it finds a floor. And I've seen lots of cases where there's a window and you mark that window and you've suddenly got a wall of mesh that goes all the way down and then blocks you on the floor below. In that case, you can't mark that window. You don't have to mark a window, you can just trim. I know it's not ideal, but that's sort of a limitation of the software. So yeah, I think in cases where you have buildings that don't have floors in certain areas, or I've also seen ones where there's a pointed window like this. We can't mark a window that's like this. It's going to mark as a rectangle. So those are special cases and they are more tricky. Play around with it, but typically remove the markings if you have to and just trim.
Do we have support documentation on the trim sandwich? So James
I believe we
suggested...
do. Yes, we do.
Oh, okay. Let's find it.
Let's find that and post that.
So Chris is doing VR training for oil fields, very cool. And so he wants to have matter tags in VR so that as people wear their VR goggles and walk in, the matter tag content will pop up. That would be super awesome.
That would be way cool. Yeah, definitely. We know that you guys want matter tags in VR, but I don't know that when that will happen.
What about matter tags in AR? There was this video circulating, I think 2 years ago, where a couple was walking through the house and the matter tag content beamed onto their phone. Is that still in the pipeline?
You know what? I haven't heard anything about that. I can find out.
Okay.
Hi, Michael. Happy New Year. Oh, Marsha's on. Hi, Marsha.
Yes, the voice of wisdom. That is Dee.
Hardly.
So dimensions in post, we do have the ability to take measurements in workshop. So that was the one.
That's a question?
Yeah, dimension visibility in post. So you can create measurements in workshop and then you can save them for other people to see. It's under measurements at the top of the workshop toolbar.
Yep. It's a little ruler on the black part in workshop. Aw, I just wanted to tell you ladies that you're a great support team for all of us. Aw, I really appreciate the help. I know, Isabel's super awesome. You spend so much time helping people.
Dee
Thank you. I know, we're like the awesome team, aren't we?
Oh, okay. So measurements for the in audience. Is there ability for the public to see the measurements? Like if you want to add, so you can matter tag in the finished space for the public to see, but there's
well, you can. So measurements are viewable in Showcase. Oh, that's a good question.
Is it? I've never seen it.
I don't know.
I'll have to try.
You know what? I'll find out the answer to that. I can't remember if measurements are visible in Showcase. I think I've seen them. I think if you look in the, yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. I'll find out. I'll get back to you guys. Measurements.
You know, TED is full of great ideas. Is any of the MSP collateral on the MSP portal going to be updated? I know that we were talking about the real estate statistics and the engagement statistics. Mm-hmm. They were dating back to 2015. And so people were wondering if there's more recent stats on how they affect home sales, how they affect visibility, that kind of thing. Has there been any recent research? Yeah,
Ooh, I
you're
don't know about
welcome.
that. I'll have to find out about that too, because that's really a marketing question, and I don't know. But I can find out. So the question is there going to be an update on the information on the MSP in the MSP portal in
Especially
reference
the
to
stats.
stats? Okay. Okay. Yeah, we can find out. Chris Bell will know that.
Awesome. Yes, Ted's on a roll.
Teddy, stop. Creating a complete training platform for a trucking company. 7 years of driving training in the Bakken. Oh, Chris Hickman says, is this Chris Hickman saying that they aren't, meaning like measurements aren't viewable?
Oh yeah, so you can't put the measurements, the yellow lines, you
Yeah.
can't publish them to the public. But that's a good idea. In the floor plan mode, you can use labels. So you can write in the labels, this room is 17 feet wide.
Yeah. Wow, that's a great idea. Would you be able to share what is on the short-term roadmap currently in development? That is a very good question. And I, in fact, did reach out to our product manager, Kirk, and asked him if he would join us at some point.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, because he knows best what's on the roadmap. Right now, he's super busy, but I'm going to try and rope him into doing this one day. So hopefully in the future.
So Robbie wants to know how I mount the video lights on the Matterport. I've only used it in 2 cases, and I was super lazy. They're flat on one side, so I just put them on the camera, and they stay put during the rotation. But if I were to use them more often, if I did more dark spaces, I would Velcro them.
Yeah, we have a link to some Velcro pads in the website you can look at, but I'm shocked that they stayed on.
No,
I guess the
because it's
camera doesn't,
flat. It's flat, and if the camera is level, then the rotation doesn't cause a lot of vibration.
there's not enough centripetal force to send them flying off.
No,
When we do
whatever.
super fast rotation, that's when
Yeah,
Isabel's
that's
lights will
super
go
fast.
woo. All right. Well, it looks like we're out of time. I wanted to thank everybody again for joining us. Well, Isabel and I have so much fun doing this. We love it when you join us. We just like to hang out with you, say hi. I appreciate everyone who joins us, and I know Isabel does too. And I wanted to thank you so much, Isabel, for all the time that you put in, answering people's questions on MOUG, and for doing this. You are super awesome, and we can't thank you enough. And again, thanks to Adam for making all this happen. So the next session we'll have will be same time next week. I'll talk to some people offline and maybe get some more suggestions on different topics that people want to talk about. I'll reach out to Chris Fraser and I'll answer the questions that we've taken notes on and get back to you all. So until next week, thank you so much. Have a great
Thank
week.
you, Jean.
Bye.
Bye.